Hey guys, and welcome back. After 1 gazillion years of pause, let us continue our wonderful tutorial about how you can, I don't do stuff with RPGs and characters and whatever. So, um, I recorded another video, but had some issues at the end. I thought I fudged it up and just got annoyed and deleted that video. And actually, it went pretty okay. So I already coded most of the part that I wanted to show you. So it's going to be another session of not coding together, but today we're going to continue from what we previously did, editing our character, but we'll also save it and load it in the new scene. So let's just see what we're trying to do. Also, if Unity decides to crash, sad, because I think it crashed a bit before and I'm too lazy to just change it. So we have this bugger, which is way too nervous. Uh, oh, I added elf ears, so that's nice. Let's just do some hairs, some not monobrow eyebrows, and yeah, why not an elf with beard? And just for fun, let's make his hair color red. And then we click the create button and we pray for the best. And here we go. We have our edited character in a scene. The control might be a bit annoying because, and the skeleton is super annoying because also, yeah, why the hell not? And boy, does this looks weird with his silly feet and everything. But anyway, something is happening. Good. Now, how do we do it? Before we start that, just two questions because I saw people asking about it. So how do you do this character creation scene? Pretty much you look for where you have installed your RPG and MMO UI thingy thingy, and this should have some scenes. Uh, and I guess I'm using create maybe. So you just drag it here. Let's remove this one a bit, unload it. Okay, so in game view, it will look a little something like this, and you pretty much want to replace this with your character. I'm already doing some more annoying stuff rather than what we're supposed to do. But you see that this character is here, and hopefully I have my ones as a prefab. So I'll just drag it under this one, and it's a lot, but no, actually, let's just drop it here because it's fine. And we copy all these values. Copy component, and on our player, we paste values, paste component values, and nothing might change, but we can deactivate this one. Look in the game. It might not look as we expected, but should be easy enough to just rotate it. It's also easier from the scene view. So we rotate it a little bit like this. If you're good with angles and you have a better memory than me, it's easier too. So most likely here it's 360 and it should be, hey, okay, so I don't have no 360. So it's pretty straight maybe. And did I mess up the scaling? Of course. Whoa. 1. And then I guess you just drag it, let's see, on the Y, not necessarily on the Z maybe. You drag it a bit, whoop, and you drag it a bit more and your character appears wherever you want it, just because some people asked me. And also add a light to it because it might be a bit dark, and you see mine is pretty colorful. So let's remove this scene. No, I don't want to save and break it. Okay, now what we want to do, click the create button and have stuff happen. So to do that, I think you can pretty much do 2D, whatever, doesn't matter. We're not identifying objects like that. But somewhere in the UI we should have the create button. So button create, there you go. And we want that when you create, let's double click it so it focuses. We want pretty much that when you click it, something happens. And I think we showed in the previous season that you should have an on-click function to it. You add the class that you want. In my case, it's we'll get to this one why it's called scene helper, then saving wrapper on click. What I did was also add this scene helper empty block just to identify it, which has a saving wrapper and a saving system attached to it. We'll get to them, don't worry, just taking it step by step and maybe we do something. So back to our create button. We want to override our one click. We look for the scene helper. Did I break this? And then on the saving wrapper, we want to call the onClick function. Great, great. Now let's test it again, that we didn't break too much. Beard, create. And it pretty much took the previous save, but we'll get to that one. It's actually pretty weird that it did that. Let's try maybe something. I added some extra loggings so that you know where the file is saved. And we're just gonna clean this and try it again. So a little bit of hair and create. So this is how you know you pretty much broke it, but it's fine. We'll just try to figure out what happened. Oh, this got a lot more interesting than I was hoping for. So, like we previously said, saving wrapper on click, and if I go to my scene helper, I have the saving wrapper, and let's have a look through it. So let's look for the on click. So on click it should log on click just because, then start coroutine, which is a very annoying thing that I'm not sure I'll get into it. And so let's see what this one does. Let's look for transition. Actually, fun fact, I'll be using a lot of stuff that are from a Unity course, the saving system and everything. It's this one, RPG Core Combat Creator Learn Intermediate Unity C# coding. I've been doing part of it. It's actually pretty fun to do. Let me try to open this other one, which is in incognito. It's actually quite cheap at the moment. Udemy has a lot of sales going on. And for 14 bucks, I highly recommend it. It has a lot of stuff for beginners. It's not the best. They are doing some silly stuff, but then who isn't? But highly recommended. Hopefully I don't forget to add it in the description, but they'll do a more detailed presentation about the saving system that I'll be using. So yeah, get it. It's only 15 euros. Should be fun. Okay, then we said we are doing this start coroutine transition. This start coroutine will call my function asynchronously. Well, that's a tough word. So if you see, it has a lot of yield breaks through it. Won't get into details because I'm not that good at it. But what it will do, it's a lot of copy paste, so don't worry about it. We'll get my saving wrapper. It will call save on the wrapper. It will load the scene and then load the wrapper. So pretty much this means it will save my player and then it will load my player. So let's go into the saving wrapper to see what save actually does. Actually, you can press F12 to get to where you're at if you're using a different sillier stuff. So on start, so I added some keys because I want to be able to save it and load it. Load last seen doesn't care, update. Oh, this is about buttons, and then you have save, calls the saving system, and saves, loads the saving system. And on click, it does this. Okay, trying to figure out why I'm using wrapper save and not something else since it's already here, but fine. So let's just try this again. This turned out to be a lot more chaotic than I wanted because I effed around a bit. Okay, I press S, it says saving to blah 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 blah. Who cares? Then let's add a little bit of beard, and then let's press load again. And boy, did this work. Okay, it called the load, and then I'm adding a bit more logs to it. Okay, fine, everything is fine. So let's see what this saving system is supposed to do. So it's supposed to call save on the saving system. Let's see. And also gives it a default save file, which would be fun. We'll talk about it later. This one is defined here as save, but you could put any name like the name of your character, for example. So let's go here. Okay, so this one defines a dictionary, loads the save file, then it captures the state pretty much, and then it saves the file. So on capture state, we have, and this is the important part for each savable entity, and it tries to find all objects of the type savable entity. Uh, the state of the unique identifier will do a capture state. And then last scene build index is, okay, this is for to know in what scene you were, and it will save it and stuff. So this means that whenever we hit save, it will look for all the savable entities and call the method capture state on them. Now, let's see. Savable entity is a little bit complex. And this is something that you would add on your character. So if I go to my character, modular character, it has a savable entity and a unique identifier, and we just discovered our defect. So the previous thing that we added was the character script, and now we're adding a savable entity with a unique identifier on it. If we go a bit deeper into this, hope this is not extremely boring, but it might be. We have the capture state, which says that for each iSavable in get components iSavable, so it's gonna look for all the components that are iSavable, and it will call capture state again. Right, so looking just through this code tell us what we need to do. We need to add on our modular character, add this savable entity script, give it a unique identifier. We'll come back to this one later. And then for all the other classes that are iSavable in this list, it will try to do capture state. And let's go back to our lovely character creator script. From the previous training, you might notice that we added an iSavable to it. So when it will look through all the components, it's gonna find our class, which is iSavable. So it will try to do capture state on it, right? And what my method is returning an object, and just for fun, uh, I did a dictionary, which is a string and an object, I guess, and I'm saving all this, and you can just add more. I was thinking actually that it would be fun to do it a bit differently. But yeah, close enough. And then the same you have on restore state, which is called when you load. It will try to load what you saved previously. This I hacked it a bit because I was having some bugs and I tried to be smart about it, but let's go. Does that make sense? So what you need to do once you download this code from GitHub, if you want a fast saving system, you add the savable entity to your character. It's gonna be somewhere in in saving, savable entity, and you also have the saving system and iSavable, so it's fine. Add the savable entity and make the character creator I savable, and then you need to write the capture state and restore state. Okay, so this one will return a state, and I think it can be any data structure that is serializable. And this one will get a state and deserialize it. Of course, you see I'm saving here a dictionary, I'm getting here a dictionary. Fun stuff. Hope this makes some sense. I think it's easier to just go through this explanation and then try to get the sources and yeah, have fun with it. So let's try to have a look why this is broken. So I'm saving it and then I'm loading it. Where is the body, bro? Great. So let's see what happens in our load state. We have this debug, which we don't need it anymore. We have this is loaded, which should be interesting because I bet it's here for some reason. And then we have this init body, which init body will tell me that if should be called just for, oh no, this is from start, so never mind. Sorry. So init body will do pretty much initializes everything to 0, and then I will load it into that. So let's just see, because I think the problem is with the order that this is called. Although, yeah, let's just log error. Man, I'm having a brain fart. Actually, pretty easy because I just deleted that one. Some days nothing works, guys. I'm not that good anyway. Haven't. Oh, so this was silly. Haven't done Unity in a while, and you just get rusted when you do that. What did we want to do? Init body, go to definition, F12. Great. Okay, but actually we want to add here something that will tell us start. Close enough. And something that will tell us init body. And you shouldn't select all, but whatever. This needs to recompile now. So let us see what is going on. Should be a lot easier if I don't go full screen. Boop. So it called hello, whatever the hell that was. It called start, and then it called init body. Then I'm gonna save it, and it's saved a couple of times, and then I'm gonna load it, and it will call init body, just that everything that is not because you can pretty much select everything except for, you know, his body. But this is actually pretty cool to just have a floating head. Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted to do. Now let's figure it out. So, but of course it will call init body because it's here, and Boop. I think the point of that start is that when you load a new scene, the saving part, the loading part will be done in awake. And when it starts again, I don't want to double init it because it was already initialized, my bad. And then I have all these body parts. So I'm setting them to -1. I'm building the lists. I'm setting them to -1. Then all the other things are being set to 0. Well, this is fun. Should I maybe also do enable character? Let's see. Whoa. Don't know why I split them into, most likely because, ooh, did I fudge it up? Because we're gonna do the other part with loading the character in the next screen. And we're gonna have some problems there, but let's take it slowly. Starts, add a hair, save it, load it. Okay, so is this loading? Okay, so I also had to call that enable character, but now we're gonna face a different problem. So now remember when we talked about this unique identifier? If you're going from scene to scene, this needs to be the same, and I'll try to explain it. Let's just set it to player. Layer, what was it? Apply all, so it saves it in all scenes. So let's see if this actually does anything. We're gonna run into some more problems, but who cares? Boom, create. Yeah, so this fancy boy entered the scene. He's so pretty. Okay, let's have another look on this one. Unique identifier is still player. Sure, let's try it again. Beard, create. Okay, so this works. Ideally, usually when you notice that there's a problem with you're hitting create and it doesn't load, you would need this. So this modular character thing needs to have the same ID between scenes. I'm gonna just load the other scene. And if I go to player, I guess custom character, and it changed the ID because I have too many things loaded and it got upset and it broke this one. So if I'll just unload it, don't save, and then let's see again if still works. Mutton chops are the best. Okay, this works. And I think it might be just easier if we're going to savable entity unique identifier. Should be fun to remove this part. You're gonna run into other problems later, but it fixed this problem. Yeah, so this one will check if it's unique, but you didn't see anything. Don't tell anyone. Right, so recompiling. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, great, good job. Modular character, I have here player. Then I can just load this scene, go to player, custom character, and it's still player. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave it removed for now, but and this happens only in Unity Editor. I'll just say that I'll remember this one. Okay, back to our saving wrapper. So on click, start coroutine and the start coroutine transition. So when you click, it does the transition, and the transition does a fader. It doesn't destroy. I don't remember what this one does. Sorry guys. I copied it from somewhere and I don't know. Ah, this is actually from Unity, and I'm telling it to not destroy. I'm guessing this because whatever. Some game object. I don't want it destroyed yet. Uh, the wrapper, well, pretty much this one, but I found it. I'm calling save on it. I'm calling scene manager load scene async 01. I think this will be pretty cool where we do the loading screen and yeah, we can animate it based on that. And then the load. Just to recap, the point is that we want to save all our data because you have this scene which is quite independent from the tiny test env, and we want to save all the data that is savable in this scene. We are loading the next scene, and then we are also loading the previous data that we had. So we had it in the previous scene. This will be the fine workflow, and I think from the build settings it's nice. Ideally you would add the scenes here. For some reason this worked for me, which is rather weird, but you can add this as scene 1, this as scene with index 0, and this as 1, so it makes sense. I don't know why it took it. It shouldn't have, but that's the point. And for the final part, uh, I hope I explained this well. If you're having any problems, just hit me up in the comments and I'll do another video and go through this again, because I don't want to get into the super details of what happens, but yeah, I don't know. If you're trying to code everything from the start, a bit more annoying. Now, what happens on the capture state? So, like previous said, I'm defining a dictionary and then I have all the stuff saved somewhere above. But for that, for example, in gender, I put the gender one. In head, I put whatever I have equipped on the head, in the eyebrows, and so forth and so forth, right? Now, I was thinking about this and then you redo them, and it might be a bit annoying. So why don't we just use some of the data structures that we have here? So whenever we activate an item, we are setting, right? Activate item, item type index. I guess we are just populating the equipped one. So if we, and then setting the active, but on all objects, but all objects are always the same. And just these equipped things are telling us how to save it, so what to activate. So maybe it would have been easier to just do a point of vector here and looping. It might be a bit more straightforward than adding all this. Now that I think about it, I'm not that impressed. And even if you try to use something else, you still have all these colors that are manual, the gender that is different, and then which one of this should you choose, blah blah blah. Yeah, might just be, then you go in the all, even if let's say you saved all objects and send it back, we still relied on this equipped to have the proper information and put it back. So I think actually doing it like this is gonna be really annoying, especially when we start adding armor and other fancy stuff. But yeah, close enough at the moment. I think it's the more straightforward way to do it and easier. Right, so since it's already half an hour of me talking stupid stuff, let's just go through a fast recap. Uh, we can actually do a fun thing, but let's just do a recap and then we'll see. I might keep it for the next one, but you'll see. Okay, recap time. You have the create button, you want something to happen when you click the create button, right? In order to do that, you go on the button and you say what method you want it to be called when you are clicking it, right? And I added this in helper to have my class instantiated, and from my class I'm calling the onClick button. Now, what happens on the onClick button, which is on, oops, let me save this no matter how broken it is, on the saving wrapper, right? So on click, it logs something, but fine. It starts a coroutine, which is, we won't detail now, but look it up what coroutines do in C#, or they are explained quite well in that tutorial course I recommended. Should be fun, but it would pretty much call my method asynchronously, and my method is transition, in which I am verifying this is clearly wrong, should be something else. Let's live with it. Fader, and I'm not destroying the game object, but again, we would need to clarify which game object is this, so just ignore it. The important part is I am calling save on my wrapper. I am loading the scene with index 1, and then I am loading from my wrapper. And then I am doing save again because there was a bug somewhere in the system. So this is just fixing small stuff, but don't focus about it. So the most important part that you would want to do is save, load your scene, load. Right? Right. Now, on your save part, what does it do? It looks for the saving system and it calls save with the default save file name. This should be fun when we add the name of our character to save it in a file called after our character. Right? But I already took too much time and I don't want to waste more time just to get you a piece of this fun stuff. What does the save do? The save creates, it loads the previous file in a state. It will capture the state and then save file. Let's go through capture state because it's more interesting. So what this one does, it will loop through all the savable entities that it can find on the state with that unique identifier. So this is the unique identifier that we talked before. It will call capture state, and then it will save. It will also get, so this one also puts in this state thingy, puts the last scene building, so that when you, let's say, start the game, it knows in which scene you were. I'm not using it that much, but just so you know why why it's there. And what does save file do? You get a file and a state. It gets the path, it prints it, and then it opens the file. Uh, it uses this format, and it will just dump your state in a stream, and it will end up in a file. This file, for example, which if you open it and look through it, is just some uh, silly stuff. So I'm not exactly sure how to hack it and give my character better stats, but that's life. Right, so what was I saying? Because my ADD is starting to act up. You save the state, you save the file. Let's just go through save state again. Savable entity, and on the savable entity it calls capture state. So because you have, it needs to find the savable entities, your big object, well, I changed something here, or Unity is, please Unity, please, please. Okay. So your character needs to have a savable entity, because my helper will look up all the savable entities and call that method on them. And if I'm saying savable entities and other crap too many times, we're all going to explode. And then for all the savable entities, oh god, that it finds, it will call capture state. And on the capture state, it will look for all the isavable and call the method capture state on the isavable. And for this to work on my character creator, it implements iSavable, and in order to do that, you will have two methods, one to capture state, so save, one to restore save or load. And this works, and this is how it happens. I think these are the bases. You can even start writing your own saving system if you don't like this one. I think it's faster to use it like that. Uh, what else do we need to know? Pretty important to have the name of your player or the characters that are passing from scene to scene, to have it to be the same in both scenes, right? Because as you saw, it loads up all the IDs and it saves them. And if it doesn't find the correct ID, you will not get anything, right? Right. Now, as a fun homework, you should try doing the following. Saving, instead of having this generic file, which is just save, try to save it with your character name, right? So how do you do that? Ideally, I, I don't know why I'm using ideally. So you have some text here, and when you click create, it also takes your text. So how do you do that? So let's see what we have in this scene. Input field name, great. Does this have any events on it? On and edit. Let's try with this one. Right, what's gonna happen? Let's just call it from the scene. Ooh, scene helper. Why does this suck, man? Why am I so silly sometimes? Whoa. Scene helper. Great, that took forever, sorry. And let's just call. Do we want to call on click? No, let's do something else. I'm pretty much doing your homework, but because I feel that I sucked so far, so you know. Public void edit name and debug dot log name is this doesn't have any parameters, so this it's fun. Let's just see. So maybe okay. Oh no, on and edit, and it receives a string. So we're gonna have it string name is name. Oop. Well, this is close enough. Building. Boop. Saving wrapper. And does anyone see it? And edit name end? Is that how I called it? Okay, that's a pretty stupid name. Try to use better names for your functions. Don't be in a hurry, think about what you're doing and do not destroy it. Can I just... La 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 la. Oops, I pressed saved a couple of times. So let's just say Q, and then tab. Okay, your name is... Well, this did not transition well. Let's also try to call it from here. Just out of curiosity, what happens? Pretty sure I'm messing something up, but you know. Here we go again with me looking up names. Saving wrapper on name, name, and name, blah, 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 string. Great. Let's see. Okay, that string does not get passed along, but it's fun because you can actually look in the faction selection. The question would be, what do you do when you appearance? So I'm curious what I'm saying setting when I'm sending the color. I must be calling something. Does anyone remember? No, then switch select face. This was already done and it calls set head with an int and a string. I think the problem is that it's not, my function is not named well. Let's try again and then I'll just give up because I'm being extra silly. I mean, yeah, this is what happens when you try to do other people's homework. Haha. Does text have any effect? No. So it's just about this one not working. Let's just call it on and edit. Right. On and edit. Did I get this right, mister? On and edit. It's like I don't believe that everything is right there. Set race, string, name, color. I'm using this name anywhere? Yeah. So this got passed along properly. Why wouldn't the other one? Okay. Did I save it? Great. Clicking this and Q W E thumb. Boop. Okay. One more thing to do. I can remove it from. Doesn't matter. We're in a hurry. Let's do this fast. On and edit. On and edit. Okay. Okay, it refused to write anything, and I think we're already super out of time. So thank you very much. Actually, just to keep your interest in most likely a gazillion more months from now when I'll do my next video, I want to try the following thing, and this is why we would need the name, and it's gonna be a pretty annoying thing to do. But there's also, I guess, this UI. Load. Right. Need to click that silly button. Characters. Let's unload this one. Unload scene. Do you want to? Yeah, save it. What's gonna happen? And we have this pretty scene. So ideal. Let's try to have all our characters that we created here, and you can just scroll through them. Of course, it doesn't work with the input system, and we need to change that. and then you select your character and hit play, and it will load. Or you can create your character, or I'm not gonna delete them, but you know, if you think that's something fun that we can do, we're gonna try to do that one for the next time. If you have any question, comments, ideas for improvement, like for example, don't do your videos for 45 minutes, but a lot less, and try to present things a lot better. That's a good point, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate your feedback, and see you sooner than we did it the last time. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day. Have fun. Bye.